So we're going to go to DetroitBonesetter.com. I'm going to log in. And what we're going to do is show you how this works. So this is the first screen that comes up, and we're going to get an x-ray. I did a screenshot from our pack system on my computer. As it comes in, the first thing is removing confidential information. As you can see here, we can remove this stuff just by dragging your mouse over it. Now it never comes up again. And then go next. Once you have an x-ray in the system, you're going to want to scale it so that you have the right size. And there's two ways to do it, with an automatically with a sizer. And this is a metal left-right marker that's placed on the x-ray cartridge. When our x-ray techs take images, it comes up like this. Depending on what kind of sizer, some people use metal balls. You can come up here and you can change the orientation. It can be a Bonesetter sizer, 25 millimeter or a 50 millimeter ball, whatever people are using. But ours is a 3 centimeter sizer, so we'll do that. And when you click on that, it sizes it. It'll say sizing complete, and you can import it. Now once it's on your screen, we can do a couple of things with it. So you can move it, you can turn it, put it back to where it should be. There are buttons down here. You can move it by 1 degree each way, like that, up or down, small micro movements for anything you pick. Plus you can lock your image. So here we've locked it, unlock it, it can move, lock it again, it'll stay. Now you can't move it. If you want to make a measurement, you can just use line, pick 2 points, and it'll tell you right here how long that object is. Since we've already sized it, you could measure it from side to side. You can see this is 2.8 or whatever you want. And then you can get rid of any object here and exit out. Now what if I made a mistake? Well, there's a reverse button, so this will bring you back. So if you did something you didn't want to do, this will get you back to that spot. Next, you could even X out your x-ray by mistake. That's gone. Reverse, it comes back. Another thing you can do is angle. So we can take an angle of the x-ray, and you can, once you take these balls, you can move it around. The angle comes up here and at the bottom. And not only can you do that, you can lock your angle. So there's a button up here which allows you to lock the angle in, and you can bring it over here, and that angle is now locked. That was the angle that you had previously. You can do, of course, another angle. You could do it to something else, and again lock the angle, and then you have another angle, and the different angles will be here. If you want to get rid of them again, just click on them and they're gone. So you can do it by something called trace, a tool that you can just move your cursor around with your mouse, your touchpad, your finger on your iPad, or even pen on your iPad. And if you move it small increments and then click, you can see how you can make this into a drawing. Now, what about another way to do this as well? You can just keep your mouse pushed, and you can see how you can do it freehand. It's a lot more difficult freehand than it is with the clicking, as I've shown you, but you can certainly bring it around, and this is a little bit more difficult. Now, I'm going to do the second piece here. And the second piece is a little bit small, so I can actually magnify it and go to the magnify tool, and I can do this. This brings everything into a little bit bigger. By tracing so much easier. So again, just clicking, and you can see this piece comes about here, 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 and then there's a little bit of just free drawing at the end, and that gets my other piece. Now to go back, I push this button here, and that goes right back to the main magnification. Again, if I want to do the bottom piece, I can magnify again, go to trace, and now go back to where I was. So if I have a fracture like this, and how do I bring this together? Well, I could just bring it back, make the pieces come together, and figure that the fractures is going to just fit together like this. If you have the other side, and we do have the other side, so I'm going to use a sample X-ray for that. In this case, we have an X-ray of the other side of this person, and I'm going to use Bonesetter sizer, import it. Here's the other piece. Now I'm going to reverse it, this button here, because this is a right arm, and I'm going to reverse it to a left arm. So I can do that just with this button here. Let's go back to this. Then I'm going to turn it a little bit so that it's straight up and down. And now you see it comes up here. And now I can bring my pieces over and fit them in as I think they might fit, just a little bit. And when you want to do a little bit more small movements, you can come here and do that. I bring this piece in, and there you go. And there's my fracture reduction. It sort of fits. Now if I want to get rid of the background, I can just push this button, which is to show or hide the background with my piece. And if I want to group it, I can go to group, and I can go to all three pieces, and now these are grouped together, and I can move them together if I want. And I can lock them as well, so now they don't move. So let's go get some implants. I'm going to use the 3-5 screw here. So if I go over to search tools over here, I can either go to tools or go to search, and I go 3.5, and the 3.5 Cortex screw comes up, and this is 10 millimeters, this is 100, 105. There's going to be a whole bunch of different ones that come up. But actually you just need to pick one, and it'll come up right over here. And if we want to get again big, we can go open that up, and there you can see a 10 millimeter screw. I'm going to put it right, can grow. I can go to this tool up here, and that makes it longer, and it'll actually tell you what size screw, maybe a little bit smaller. Little lag screw over here. And if I want to put a second one, I don't actually have to go back to tools. I can just duplicate it. Here's a duplicate button, and another one's going to come up, and now I'm going to use this to bring over to maybe a second lag screw. And again, the size of these screws, if you want to make them smaller or bigger, it says right on them, and plus it'll say over here, it'll say on the screw itself. If I pick it, it'll light up here on the blue. It'll tell you what screw you're at. This one here, it'll be this one, and you can see how these screws sit there. I'm going to put a posterior humerus plate as well. So I go to posterior, and one of these comes up. Then I'm going to go back to the regular size. I'm going to bring that up, and that doesn't look too bad. And if you want to make it a little longer, I can go to the other little bit longer plate. But that's about, I think that's going to be about right. And again, if I want to lock that so it doesn't move, now it's locked, these pieces aren't going to move. And I want to put some screw heads in. I can go screw head, and you have a bunch of different screw heads that come up. And I think I'm going to use some 3-5 screw heads and 3-5 lockers. Let's bring these in, make this a little bit bigger again, back to here, and I can put my 3-5 screw head in. I'll say I'll do one here, and if I want another 3-5 screw head, it'll come up right by duplicating. And in this case, I actually did this case, so I'm going to actually show you what I did here. X-ray, sample X-ray. Here's this case. Again, I'll size it normally, load, import, and here's the case I did to bring it up. And you can see how that basically, the sizing just seems to match pretty good with the plate. Not too bad. Let's make this a little bit smaller so I can bring it in. Thank you.